Guys, this video was supposed to be 10 minutes long, and I'm not going to cut it down because I think it's going to reshape how you approach your health and your personal development. I'm going to walk you through a full 12-week roadmap to achieve what I call limitless health potential. This is basically my life's work in a 12-week program, and I'm giving it all to you for free. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So if I was in your position at this very moment in time, and I had 12 weeks to transform and change my life and achieve what I would consider to be total human optimization, you operate like Eddie Mora in the movie Limitless. This is exactly what I would do, starting with step 1, reset. Now, if you can condense a concentrated period to reset your mind and body into 3 days, you're going to achieve far more than you could if you were half in, half out for a period of 30 days, even 2 months. So for 3 days, and 3 days alone, go all in, full commitment, and just cut out all forms of stimulation, all work, turn off your phone. If you need to communicate with people, do so through WhatsApp on your laptop, and use that time to allow your brain's chemistry to re-regulate, to allow your nervous system to rebalance, and use that time to journal, to be present, to not multitask, and to take time over chores that you otherwise rush, like cooking. Be in nature if you can. If you can find a place away from home, such as a cabin like this, it's far more likely that you're going to be able to disconnect just through that change in environment. So that is week 1, a hard reset. Now, if we're to reflect more so on Eddie Mora in Limitless, what's the first thing that he does when he takes NDT48? If you know, drop it down in the comments, but he tidies his environment. He goes around his house, he cleans up, and he creates an environment that's going to allow him to thrive. And so the first step that you can take once you have gone through this mind-body reset is to redesign your environment. Make sure that if there are any tools that are going to contribute to your progress and the journey to come, that you order them, that you get everything in place. This is kind of a bit of an admin week, if you will, just preparing, because what you do in this week is going to have is going to facilitate progress and results for the 3 months to come. So it's 1 week's worth of effort for 12 weeks worth of gains and progress. The second thing you're going to do is develop a protocol. So we talked a lot in a video where I shared my complete protocol, everything that I do to take care of myself and my health. Protocols are key and essential, and you can reflect on that video if you haven't yet watched it to see some of the protocols that I use and apply. But really here it's going to require there's a level of personalization required. What you need is going to be different from Lawan, which is going to be different from the next person. So you need to create a protocol that is designed specifically for you and aligned with you. Of course, I provide a wealth of information that allows you to structure your own protocol. If you need help, then I think, seeking professional support and having someone take all of the thought and the weight off your hands to design that for you is extremely helpful. Next up is your consumption habits. So, really there's enormous scope to change the way you look and feel just through what you are putting into your body. And I say consumption habits because it's about more than just food. It's also about what you drink. It's also, about what water you're consuming. And I also throw, good quality air, even oxygen, into the mix when we're thinking of your consumption habits. So, here, the best and most effective structure that I would apply if I were you is either to go on more of a low carb, or to moderate your carbohydrates to carb cycle. And if, like me, you want to go through kind of a short-term, more intensive approach to lower your inflammation and to facilitate focus and cognition, then you can go for maybe a short-term carnivore keto approach. But here you just want to basically establish the meal plan, establish the food structure that you're going to be following for the weeks to come. Very simple. Here, if you have some kind of digestive issue, or if you want to focus on the gut or your digestive system, that is where it's important to discern the difference between eating healthily and eating according to a strategy that's going to help you address an underlying issue in your body. So make sure that you are discerning between the two, and if you have something that needs to be resolved, structure your nutrition accordingly. Next up is rhythm and routine. So really, this is what, if we're thinking from from sunrise to sunset, what rhythm and routine is kind of carrying you through your day-to-day life in a frictionless way. So momentum is incredibly important, and having systematized or standardized rhythms and routines, which basically means that there's a lot of merit in doing certain things the same way every day, such that you can ingrain that pattern. You're not having to use willpower and make decisions, which will only lead to decision fatigue. And of course, willpower only goes so far. So think in particular about how you can win the morning. Establish, I would say, 3 core habits if they were to be light or to get outside. So I take a walk every morning. To write, I really believe that some kind of writing practice, to go analog away from your phone, to strategize or to think about your day, is the best way to go. And finally, to do some kind of mindfulness, whether it's meditation or breathing. Next up is breath work. And when I say breath work, we breathe 24/7, and you are always breathing, and the breath is either working for you or against you. And so there's 4 ways you can master the breath. The first is just by a greater level of day-to-day awareness of your breathing. Very important. The second is to use your breath as a tool. So if you understand that the inhalation portion of the breath is energizing, the exhalation portion is relaxing, now use your exhales, take a long, slow, 12-second exhale to change your state, to down-regulate. Use your breath as the tool that it is. The third practice, or the third way to master the breath, is with a daily practice. So that could be Wim Hof, it could be 4-7-8, it could be corporate breath work. Whatever you choose, there's a lot of breathwork techniques out there. I teach a variety of these, are my personal favorites inside Aura or to my clients. The final way is to explore breath journeys. So this is where you have someone in person facilitating and guiding you through a breath journey. And obviously that's not necessarily something that you can do at home, especially if you have a facilitator that's taking you into like an altered state of consciousness. You might see videos of those kinds of sessions online. That's not done online, that's done in person. They're using music. I facilitate that form of breathing. I wouldn't say that it's kind of, my life purpose, if you will, but it's something that I basically got into as a way of deepening my own practice. And I use this to deepen my own practice as much as I aim to pass it over to people such as yourself. Next up, we've got to balance your nervous system. So really, we've got the sympathetic nervous system that winds you up into a fight or flight state. If a lion walks in the door behind you, your pupils will dilate, blood will flow to the muscles, adrenaline and cortisol will flow through your body. That is your fight or flight state, which most of you are stuck in. You are very sympathetic dominant. So what I challenge you to do is balance that out with a lot of parasympathetic activation. Breath work and the work you will have done thus far will already facilitate that. But examples of how you can do this is to understand what environment is going to make your body feel safe. Because if you're in a sympathetic state, it means that your body is trying to function optimally and it's under some form of stress or threat. So if you take away that stress, you are going to find yourself move over towards a parasympathetic state. And here, great ways to train your parasympathetic nervous system would be things such as a cold plunge or yoga. Practices that make you control your breathing and stay calm in an otherwise stressful situation. If you train your body to stay calm in an otherwise stressful situation, in particular using your breathing, then when stressful situations come, you will be prepared and ready to stay calm and more relaxed. So that's how you train the parasympathetic nervous system. But of course, there are plenty of ways to just stimulate it and facilitate a rest and digest state. So here you are, there is no perceived threat, there's nothing to optimize for, and your less essential functions are going to work at their best. That could be digestive function, immune regulation, hormonal balance. And so here it could be an Epsom salt bath, sauna. It's great for this. Obviously sleep. This is the primary time in which we are in a parasympathetic state. Low heart rate, low breathing rate, that is all very parasympathetic. So switch off, just chill the fuck out basically. It's important to find that balance. For some of you who are, you're not so super active or you don't have a highly stressful lifestyle, then on the flip side, maybe you need to get a little bit more sympathetic in your life, and you can do that through, in particular, fasting or exercise. They're great forms of eustress, which is stress that you can positively adapt from, and of course just challenging yourself, whether it's starting a business or in your career, pushing your limits in that way. So next up is speed versus velocity. So I created a whole program around this idea of velocity because it's so powerful. It's this idea that less can sometimes be more. And there is a lot of benefit that can come from alignment and direction as opposed to just moving at full speed. What I want to challenge you to do this week is to establish how you can focus on calibrating your direction as opposed to just doing more things. You've already put in a lot of work to change, to generate a lot of speed, if you will. So now I'm inviting you to channel this momentum that you have developed in the right direction. Next up is identity shifting. So now we're starting to work on kind of the deeper layers of yourself. Identity shifting is now your opportunity to harness what is arguably the fastest way to make progress, which is to change the way you view yourself and who you believe yourself to be. This is where, depending on your belief systems around, spirituality and energetics and religion will contribute to kind of how you approach this identity shifting. Now, this is in particular for the people who are walking towards some kind of goal or aspiration. If you're not goal oriented, this isn't really going to be for you, because the visions to action funnel is a model that I created to take your grandest of visions and predictably, through a system, bring those visions into fruition. So it starts with establishing your broad visions. The next step is to map out your next 5 moves. So this is the next 5 key steps in your journey, and you can think about how you can maybe phase out your year according to the seasons and what's best to optimize for when. So no other animal on earth lives the same way all year round. So why would you? I always say to clients, it's like you wouldn't optimize for a suntan in the winter. So obviously there are going to be better or worse times of year to optimize for one thing versus another. So now, once you've established a visions to action funnel, I want you to start thinking like a grandmaster strategist. I, by nature, am lazy. So I want outputs that require the minimum amount of input from me. Same with my clients. They want solutions that require the least amount of work and effort from them to achieve the maximum output. Wouldn't everyone want that? Of course. And that's not going to happen by accident. That's going to come through thinking like a strategist. So really becoming limitless is about hacking your brain in a sense, and that can be done through protocols. So when you establish a foundational protocol in the early period of your journey, what you want to do when you're developing this is establish a maintenance protocol, which you can then layer specific protocols on top of. So you establish your maintenance protocol, and that could be, okay, I want to take potassium and to balance out sodium retention from my high cortisol stressful lifestyle. I want to take taurine, methylated B vitamins, and saffron for focus. In the evening, I want to take glycine, I want to take magnesium glycinate, and I want to take inositol. So it's like, okay, cool, that is your maintenance protocol. All of a sudden you get a gut issue, or you do a GI map, or you do some kind of testing that says this is something that requires your attention, then layer specific protocols on top. Layer in a short-term gut protocol, do a salt flush, take specific strains of probiotics, take biofilm disruptors, take antimicrobials, layer that on top of your maintenance protocol. Likewise, when you are becoming limitless and you are focusing on this cognitive acceleration, this is where supplementation is going to play a key role. Methylene blue, for example, is arguably the most powerful cognitive enhancer that there is. I take methylene blue right before bed, just because I know that I've got my sleep hygiene down, and if I take it right before bed, I wake up fresh, no alarm, ready to go, very, very sharp. This might be a great time to think about your caffeine timing, delaying your caffeine, starting the morning with a decaf coffee for the ritual, and then winding up and introducing caffeine as you walk your way through the day. And that leaves one final area, which is what I call 12D chess. And this is where the world cannot be perceived just with your 5 senses, because at the end of the day, we are not just, we're vibrating and we are energetic beings. This is the same blueprint, the same structure that we use inside the Aura program. And the Aura program you will have heard me speak of is the program that I have been developing for over 2 years. To be frank, if you are like me, if you resonate with my journey and you want all of the pieces of the puzzle that have allowed me to get to where I am today, then I built this program not for you. I built it for me, and I built it iteratively over the course of my journey with all of the pieces of the puzzle that allows me to get to where I am today. You'll find on screen or down in the description a link to go and check out and access the program. If you've enjoyed listening to everything that I have to share, and fundamentally you want to find out more, really, we have built this around individuals such as both myself and our one-to-one clients, which currently at this present point in time have a combined annual revenue of nearly $400 million, and that will be this year. And these models have been built around these individuals, and we want to pass that knowledge over to you to allow you to take one step closer to becoming your highest performing self. And if you are now in this present moment not sure, then the final question I can ask is, do you trust me to be the person to take this journey on with you? Do you trust me to be your coach and guide on this journey? Do you resonate with my content? Do you want to walk this path that I have just laid out? Because if you do, then the full implementation plan is on the other side of joining the Aura program. If you take that plunge, I will see you on the inside. Myself and my team will be your direct point of contact. Any questions, we are here to help. I hope you have enjoyed this short little production. I'm going to get back to my own nervous system reset, and rest assured, any updates to my protocol or the things that I'm doing, you'll be the first to know inside the Aura program. This is really the action and the implementation of all of the content that I'm sharing online. So if you like that content, if you like and resonate with me, then I will see you on the inside.